Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain family? The Fed's crypto war. Will XRP and or Bitcoin stand the test of time? Which comes out number one? What about the CBDCs? What is the Fed up to? Real-time payments on Fed now. Is that going to be a disruptor for the entire crypto space? And we got to dig into this thing because the Fed is up to
Probably not.
something. We got to find out.
As they used to say, inquiring minds want to know. That was the National Enquirer. Remember, they said inquiring minds want to know. In other words, people that have questions, they want answers. So it was a clever way to say that. But be ready, guys, to go.
OTC.
Down with OTC. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody who's joining on the chain. If you're an Aussie, then you're joining at nights. How great is that? You're almost into the future on the next day, so that's awesome as well. We'll have some Aussie guests coming up soon. They'll be joining us. And we had that beautiful interview, Jeff. That interview with Stephen Yerioff was phenomenal. New Zealand, you see right there, Ray the Muss. There you go.
Oh,
New Zealand. That's a place I got to get to. New Zealand. What a beautiful country that is. My God, got to get there, Jeff. We were so close in Australia.
That's right. We're so close, and then we got Kansas. What's up, Justin?
Kansas is in here. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna load up. Let's go into this here. So I think what we should do is we should jump in the shallow end, head first, maximum impact. Boom.
Let's do it.
Hit it hard.
Start that way.
So let's start off with Michael Saylor. Everybody knows that Michael Saylor is a Bitcoin maxi, right? Everyone's pretty aware of that. He loves Bitcoin. He doubled, tripled, quadrupled. And what's the fifth one? How would you say the fifth one, Jeff? He's gone like
five-drupled.
6-drupled. Yeah, we'll make up stuff now. 7-drupled in, 8-drupled in. It sounds better, right? 9-drupled. He 10x'd in.
He 9-drupled.
He 9-drupled. So we just made up words, though, new words. Michael Saylor, 7-druples, right? It's like, what? But he did. He kept buying more. He kept buying more. Bitcoin, right? Every interview, Bitcoin. If you're not Bitcoin, you're nobody. Well, he came out. This little snip's been making its way around X, and we're going to go ahead and listen to it, and then we're going to break it down. But let's listen in
Georgia.
Savannah, yay.
Approved. And when Ethereum is going to be approved. And when Ethereum is not going to be approved, sometime this summer, it'll be very clear to everyone that Ethereum is deemed a crypto asset security, not a commodity. After that, you're going to see that.
So it's just matter of fact. We all know that this is going to happen, Jeff.
Matter of fact, going to happen. And when it happens, here's what's going to happen.
And when that happens, please, Michael, just enlighten us on what's going to happen after that, because we got to listen back this up. Let's listen to it again.
To be approved. And when Ethereum is not going to be approved, sometime this summer, it'll be very clear to everyone that Ethereum is deemed a crypto asset security, not a commodity. After that, you're going to see that Ethereum, BNB, Solana, Ripple, Cardano, everything down the stack is just a crypto asset security unregistered. None of them will ever be wrapped by a spot ETF. None of them will be accepted by Wall Street. None of them will be accepted by mainstream institutional investors as crypto assets. This is the one universal consensus accepted institutional grade crypto asset in the world. There won't be another one going to be approved.
So did you pick up on what he said, though, Jeff? Did you pick up on what he said?
So as he's navigating this, and first of all, he has to be super maximalist and super centric, and he's trying to hype up Bitcoin. I get it, because you own a shit ton of it. And, you got to hype the fact that you own a shit ton of it. But why does he have to go and then undermine the entire rest of the market? And he doesn't say XRP in his statement. He talks about Ripple. Doesn't mention XRP. He doesn't talk about the XRPL in this whole thing. If we're going to talk about chains, and he gets into, some of the other assets, but he wants to go after Ethereum for sure. So there's the one and only, Chip. That's it. The all seeing eye.
Yeah. Well, the funny part about it is listen, I mean, if you're on an island somewhere, right? I mean, you can't even make the distinction between a centralized entity, right? And I mean, this is the part that gets me. An XRP, the decentralized asset, he never, he's like, and Ripple and Solana and, Cardano and down the line are all going to be, yeah, okay, right. So sure, that's right. But the only one that matters, I mean, imagine if people felt this way in the stock market and no one bought his stock, right? MicroStrategy.
Right.
Like nobody ever bought it because they said that IBM is the one true, it's NVIDIA. There's nothing else. I mean, this is how
Nothing else. That's
ridiculous
it.
he sounds, Jeff.
Yeah.
This is
Only
a
Oracle.
very educated, smart man who's bet, like his stock picks, even forget what he's done in Bitcoin. What this guy has done for his world in just betting on the right stocks. And he's a mastermind, but he's dumber than rocks when it comes to like understanding the space because he doesn't want to. None of these people want to explore beyond the blinders. It's Bitcoin 24/7. It's only Bitcoin. And listen, man, we're not maxis. Bitcoin is great. We wouldn't be talking here, Jeff, if it wasn't for Bitcoin.
That's right.
But what's with the maximum? I just don't get his complete groove here. He's got to just put everything else down. I always wonder about that. Like people will do that sometimes to make themselves feel better. Put everything else down. Like, oh, this is bad and everything.
So what happened within cults? They put a gold pan behind his head to make him look like a saint, like a halo.
Like a halo.
Chip, only gold. Forget about silver. This summer, at some point, when silver comes out to be a securitized commodity, along with platinum and copper and some of these other precious metals, gold is going to be the only one, Chip. That's it.
Well,
forget about all these others. You're not going to be able to invest or hold any other precious metal.
Yeah, well, that's what's the dude's name that's always harping on the gold thing against hating? He's the Bitcoin hater. What's his name? His name escapes me. They know in the comments. I just having brain fade right now. But he's always like gold is this gold. I'm like, dude, gold didn't go up 10,000. It didn't go up 100x. It never has. It's like, okay, well, 12 years ago it was $1,200 and now it's breaking $2,000. Yippee! It's like. And what I think about gold is like people like, oh yeah, you can park it in gold. But if it's only going to be equated to fiat, well, your better bet isn't gold. Your better bet's Bitcoin, right? It's always good to diversify, right? Have a little bit of each. But if you're thinking about an asset that's going to actually go up in value, since the beginning of time, like, and think about gold, Jeff, like it's a metal. And so somebody at some point there was, and all of this stuff comes down to agreement. It's an agreement by the human race. The humans say like, let's all agree that this piece of paper is worth this because it has this number on it. Everyone's like, okay, is it backed by anything? No. Do you print it out of thin air? Yes, you do. But everybody has to have this agreement. And so, thousands of years ago, people, shiny object you could make cool things out of, and you could trade it, and you could carry it in a satchel, and somebody could hijack it.
Limited. It's hard to get. The most overrated precious stone, which is the diamond, which is probably the most costly of many of the different precious stones. Although there's a lot of nice ones, is not rare. Diamonds are the least rare of all the precious stones. And so one of the least rare.
And they're pretty cool.
They're expensive, but it's all about the cut, how you cut the stone and the clarity and all this other stuff, but they're not necessarily the nicest. There's stones out there with depth of color. And, it's amazing other than a diamond, but the diamond is attributed to marriage. And so it now has attained some, elite value above all the other stones because of that. But that's it. To your point, it's a prescribed value that the human race has applied to it to say it's more precious than something else, when in fact it's not really as precious in terms of scarcity.
Jeff, I'll be honest with you. I did not have diamonds on my OTC bingo card today. Like we always venture into some territory that of course they can be. They can be, and it's like almost undetectable, really. I mean, you can still detect, but you're right. They can be made.
Look at that.
Wait till you can make gold.
That's utility. That's true gold utility. There you go.
Joshua Vanderplatz, I like that. So I wanted to throw this up there because this was the clip that was going around. Radar put it out there and said, talking about, BNB and Solana, and even here he calls it Ripple because he's quoting Michael Saylor. Will be securities this summer. Well, let's put some bets on that, Jeff. Let's say so summer officially ends. When is it? The end of August, September? Does anyone know? Look that up. Somebody Google that. Like, when does it end? Why don't we have a countdown timer, Jeff? Why don't we have a countdown timer to show like when summer's going to end and Saylor's going to be wrong? Okay,
that's right.
Because if none of these are deemed securities, that means like Saylor is like his word is worth this is nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
why even come out and say it? Well, you know, why put himself in that position?
Why not
makes no sense.
Like he came out with this new product, which is tied to identity. Do you know what his new product is? I read through it.
That's right. Yeah, I was reading through that whole identity. We were talking about it the other day.
That's what's really weird, Jeff. It's like if I was going to come out with a product, that wouldn't be it. Like if I was going to come out with something around Bitcoin, that's like if you said like try to guess what Saylor's new project would be. I would think it would be like, okay, think about MicroStrategies, think about something in tech, think about something that would be, you know, something tied to Bitcoin that would make sense. I'm like, really cool. What is this? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it was a shocker for me. Jeremy Hogan said, well, there's almost nothing that I am more certain of that Ripple will not be deemed a crypto asset security unregistered this summer. Sorry for the double negative. It didn't seem improper in responding to this video.
That's true. Yeah, Ripple will definitely not be a crypto asset security. No,
we're wrong about that.
Ripple can't be. First and foremost, let's put it out there into the ecosystem. Ripple is not a digital asset.
No, isn't that funny?
XRP is a digital asset. Ripple is a centralized company that builds a payment solution.
And there's such a hatred for Ripple, though. This is how these people are. You know, this is the absolute hate. And so there's a new movie that's coming out. Well, I think it actually came out May 3rd. Today's the 4th. So yeah, actually it was in theaters. It's also on pay-per-view. And this is a clip from that. And this was making the rounds on X. And Jeff, I don't know if it's clever editing. I don't even know if it's AI at this point, but please tell me that this cannot be real. Tell me after you watch this clip that this cannot be real. This is Jared Bernstein right here. Here we go. Let's look at this, guys.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the
Jeff, what was that movie? Remember those movies like it was like the 90s, I think it was. It was Leslie Nielsen. He did all those funny, goofy movies. He was like he sounded real serious, but he said funny shit all the time. What were those movies?
Airplane and all those.
He did.
What you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it was like Airplane was one of them, but he had a whole string of movies. Guys, throw it in the comments. He's almost like a Leslie Nielsen actor. Well, we print our own money, and that's how we do. You know, he kind of has that sort of Leslie Nielsen sort of look to him.
He does have that look to him,
right? He's so serious and everything. But then it just goes off the rails, and I'm like, please, is this real? Really? Come on.
No,
the U.S. government can't go.
Naked Gun 2.5, Naked Gun 3. Thank you, guys. Smartest people around the world. Mo Meta, what's up? So look at this. Now, Jeff, can you read his title there? It's the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors for President Joseph Biden. Okay. Let's be the smartest guys in the room. Okay. So let's listen to what he has to say. Let's through all the way through here.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money.
No, the government doesn't print money.
And then it lends that money by...
No, it does not lend that money. This is an advice. Now you understand why this administration is an absolute shit show, Jeff.
By selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, yeah, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, cause it's like, the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So, I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Do they print bonds?
Jeff, this is the absolute. I mean, now the sad part about it is for this guy, like, you know, sometimes you can be on camera and someone can ask you stuff. Like we get on here and my mind goes blank a lot of times. Like I'm like I know Naked Gun, but I'm like, Jeff, what's those movie that, you know, like sometimes your mind just like, because you're in the moment, right? You're live, but come on, Jeff, this is,
what was his title again? Lead economist? What was it?
He's the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. So he chairs the economic advisors.
He's the chair.
Dude, he's the guy.
Yeah. That doesn't mean he knows it. He doesn't know economics. He's just the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors.
But most of these appointees, Jeff, they're not. They don't do any of this. They're just, you know, they're figureheads. Like, hey, I want to be somebody. Put me a title, and then on their
exactly right.
And on the resume, you know, they go or their CV, whatever you call it. He puts it out. He goes, by the way, I was the economic chair of the the economic councils for President Joe Biden, right? Well, the problem with this is that most people don't understand what the Federal Reserve is. It's a central bank. And the founders of the U.S. didn't want central banks for a very good reason. It's not federal. It doesn't have anything to do with the government.
Do you want to know what his master's degree's in?
It's not in economics. It's got to be in macro. It's crochet. I don't know, something. What is it?
Keep guessing. What do you think? If you were a Democrat, what would your master's degree be in?
Social studies, something along those lines.
Pretty close. Social work.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. Thank you.
I don't know what a DSW is, but he has that in social welfare from guess what college? What college was in the news recently that nobody likes anymore? Yep, there you go.
Jeez, Jeff.
And guess what his undergrad is in? Now we know why he doesn't know economics. What's his undergrad in? Bachelor's.
I don't know.
He studied the double bass, a degree in music.
Okay, well there you go. That makes
degree in music, undergrad, a master's in social work, and whatever a DSW is. That's down.
It's a shoe store, Jeff. I go there all the time.
That's what it is. That's right. So he
worked in a shoe store.
He worked at DSW for social welfare. I get it, but now this guy is now the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors.
Well, that's now you're reading that because it's on his bio now. You see, that's fantastic. But the thing about it is, like, this is why we talk about the Fed all the time, Jeff. The Federal Reserve is a third-party entity. This and then this greatest story, you know, the creature from Jekyll Island. If you want to read the story about how this all came in secrecy, you know, people say like the Titanic. Well, if you put the three guys on there that are against the Fed and the ship sinks, wow, isn't that pretty convenient? It's not. Didn't happen by. No, it's just a weird conspiracy.
How great would that be if they dragged him in front of Kennedy? Man, watching Kennedy's videos are the best. He had a law student on from law professor from Yale in front of him the other day. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing to watch. This woman was so stupid.
Cringe, Jeff. Peak cringe.
I can't believe this Wikipedia.
But they should delete. Jeff, he thinks the government prints the money. The government doesn't print the money. The so-called Federal Reserve, this third-party entity, and the whole thing is like, if you print $1 and you say, here's $1, you then have to take the next dollar to pay the interest on the first dollar. Yeah. So this is why central banks, I don't care what you talk, CBDCs, all this garbage, scrap the central banks, go to a blockchain sovereign currency, right? Yeah. This is what you want. Go to something that is sovereign, that actually is, because Congress is the one that mandates it, and they handed all their power over to some entity 120 years later. Nobody's ever seen the balance sheet. They print them, they tell us, but I have a feeling that they've been investing in all kinds of shit and making all kinds of money with this. So they print that money, but then they take the money in. They're actually pulling money in, right, on the debt side of it. and they're printing as much as they want. Now, where do you think they're investing that money that comes in? I have a feeling that they're investing that in all kinds of stuff. They probably have
issue
enough
bonds?
to pay off the debt, because is it that much? Yeah, sure. But we're paying debt every time. They're getting compounding interest. They're
That's right.
investing in probably Chinese companies.
Oh,
They
without a doubt.
probably-
Yeah.
right. So it's this guy doesn't even understand the basic concept of a central bank or the Federal Reserve.
It's such a travesty. You know, the thing is, the appointment of this individual is par for the course of the rest of the administration.
Pretty
They
much.
put the worst of the worst, people that know nothing because they're easily manipulated, and then it's easy also to sow confusion across every aspect of government because you have people that have no idea what they're doing. The guy's like, "Do they issue bonds? Do they print the money? I don't know. I don't really know that, but I'm the chair of this effing council." But it's interesting too because then there was a reporter that said described him as a progressive and a strong advocate for workers. And this is coming from some guy, reporter, correspondent, journalist, grew up in San Francisco, has a bachelor's degree from Claremont College and a master's in public policy from JFK at Harvard University. So here's a guy with a master's in public policy saying that this guy Bernstein is a progressive and a strong advocate for workers with a background that has nothing to do with economics whatsoever. There you go. And you know, and I'm fine with, hey, you want to work and whatever you want to work in, that's great. But you don't appoint someone as a chair to this council of economic advisors that A, doesn't know anything about it, and B, has zero background, none, like at all. It's
It
crazy.
doesn't matter.
Although
So
he did start working as a senior official at the Economic Policy Institute, a liberal think tank, back in 1992. So maybe he does have a little bit of a history working in
did he play
these
bass there as well, or
think tanks.
did he play bass? Was he part
He
of
was
the
playing
band?
bass while he was doing it, actually. Yeah, that's kind of part of it. He sits on the Congressional Budget Office Advisory Committee, another issue. Let's see. Was appointed executive director of the Middle Class Working Families Task Force. Let's see what else.
Boy, what a shit show, Jeff. It really is, huh?
God, I just keep digging down into this. I'm like, gets worse.
It's bad. But so, what's up, Walter? Good to see you, my man.
That's right.
Jared's in here. Everybody. Yeah, it's OG's in here today, man. OG's.
That's right. We got to get off 20. You know, the thing is that YouTube is removing subs. So as we go backwards, we actually hit over 26,000. We're on our way to 27, almost 27,000. And for every sub we gain, YouTube actually takes away 2.
Or 3 now. I mean, we've been
3 now we just lose. Now we're just constantly losing subs every day. Every single day YouTube removes subs. It's the craziest phenomenon. So and they're also capping how even though today I saw our video at least I got the notice 30 minutes before we went live. That was the first notice I've received in I don't know how long.
Get it. I didn't get the
There you
notice.
go. So they've turned off notifications. They've unsubscribed people. They're blocking us from being recommended on other videos. It's crazy what YouTube has done to the channel. Right now we have 64 people watching us live on YouTube, 145, 150 over on X. We're probably going to be close to actually. Oh no, we're over 200, like 225 on X right now watching. But YouTube. So I didn't stream today on Rumble to see if that would have an impact. But YouTube, we'd consistently never hit less than 100 on any given stream. Now it's crazy. We struggle to get to 50 or 60 on YouTube, and we watch the algorithm and we look at it after the fact. YouTube won't recommend our videos anywhere.
Everybody who's in the chat, if you guys are watching right now on YouTube, specifically on YouTube, but if you guys are watching on YouTube, could you guys let us know, how did you get here? Did you just know the time? Did you actually, were you scrolling through YouTube and you said, oh, OTC's on? Or did you actually get a notice? Like trying to figure out like exactly what's going on. Yeah, so that's kind of what it is, What we have to put on our website is a little calendar thing you download because we're on the same time every time. And it's just like, instead of the notice, you just set the alarm in your phone and bleep, we're on. Because this is what happens. A lot of people go like, oh, I never got the notice. I didn't know you guys were on.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
didn't get one.
It's crazy. It's
See,
crazy. But Twitch, we got our viewer over on Twitch. Give a quick shout out to our one sole visitor over
Lou
on
says we're
Twitch.
doomed.
The most qualified advisors. That's right.
Fortunately, we are, Lou. That's astute observation right there. We are doomed. You know what I mean?
Scroll, no notice.
See,
That's what happens, and that's what goes on for the most part. YouTube is completely. I don't want to say completely, but they've been.
Okay,
Not
Scott,
everybody's getting them.
you're special. You're special because I know you fools.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Very cool.
Justin got a notification too. That's good. It's good, guys. I mean, we don't get them.
Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, a lot of notices went out, so that's a good thing too. Walter's saying, "What do you?" Hey,
sorry, I was putting up at the same time. So,
no. What do you think about Obama running the country? Do you know anything about it? The Cloward Piven strategy. That's interesting. There was an interview with him, when he was going out, and he said how great, he said he was joking, but if for a third term, it'd be great if he had someone in office that he could control.
if he was in the
Interesting.
basement and could kind of feed him all the stuff, so I mean, it's like. I mean, we got to be careful here. You know what I mean? OG
right, yeah.
time. That's right. OG time. Got to notice. Josh says you got to notice from YouTube. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys letting us know that because, quite honestly, like Jeff and I rarely get them. Sometimes we'll get them like halfway through, but I just looked at my phone.
It's too sometimes.
I will get them occasionally. I don't know what drives that. I don't know if it's like
I don't know.
there's so many notices going. You got to imagine like how many videos like right now that are getting dropped. There's tens, probably millions of notifications going out at one time. So I don't know if it's that, but it's just
Another one say that.
yeah. There you go.
You just never know.
So
Never know.
yeah, I know you're excited about this, but Gary Gensler put out another office hours, so we have to listen to it and laugh at it. So
I may not agree with what you have to say, but we use the full power of federal government to prevent you from saying it.
Right. Exactly.
God. Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Go.
Yeah, I like that. Anyway, so let's listen in here.
What does the musical Hamilton have to do with our treasury markets?
Geez, I'm going to take a wild guess and say nothing. But okay, Gary, please tell us what it has to do. Please enlighten us, would you please, Gary?
A couple of hundred years ago, before he became a Broadway star, Alexander Hamilton had a star turn as Secretary of the Treasury. In 1790, Hamilton told Congress that the proper funding of the present debt will render it a national blessing. Hamilton's prophecy has turned out to be prescient. Treasuries are called risk-free assets, not just here in the US, but around the globe. They're the base upon which our entire capital markets are built. And they are how we, as a government and as taxpayers, raise money to fund roads and bridges and public universities. You see, we the public, we're the issuer. That means if we can lower the cost of US Treasuries, we the public can raise money more readily. Treasuries often are considered the safest, most liquid market in the world.
Jeff, what is he trying to pump up here?
Investors from around the globe put their money in treasuries to generate returns, but also to keep their money in a safe place.
Right now in a treasury.
You might even have some treasury securities yourself. Over the years, however, there have been multiple times we've seen tremors in this market. Back about 8 years ago, there was even something called a flash crash. For 12 minutes, it was very difficult for investors to even trade treasuries. Then in September of 2019, the funding of the market, something called Treasury Repurchase Agreement market, often called the repo market, experienced real issues. Again, at the beginning of the COVID crisis in the spring of 2020, there were significant challenges in the treasury markets. Now, it's sobering enough to see some of these issues, like flash crashes and the like, in the stock market.
Crashes are scary.
But the treasury market?
Exactly.
To see such significant disruptions in this safe, liquid market is especially jarring. So the Securities and Exchange Commission plays a critical role in our overall efforts.
Oh boy.
Working along with the U.S. Department of Treasury, working along with the Federal Reserve to ensure for the smooth functioning of this market. We're the issuers. I've asked staff to work on 3 projects to help bolster the state of the Treasury market. First, we have a project related to something called central clearing, the basic plumbing of the market. You might recall we've talked about plumbing in the stock market. This is about the plumbing in our Treasury market. Secondly, we have a project about the trading platforms where treasuries are traded amongst large institutions, sort of like the stock exchanges for treasuries. And then thirdly, we're also making sure that principal trading firms, you might think of them as high-frequency trading firms, are properly registered as dealers. And that means they have some capital, they have requirements for their books and records. We look forward to working with our partners, again, at the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Department of Treasury to strengthen the resiliency and safety of this critical market. 230 years after Alexander Hamilton talked about the Treasury markets, let's not throw away our shot to make them a little bit better for the American public.
Jeff, Peak, first of all, first of all, the SEC, what are they talking about plumbing? What are they talking about, like, how the markets move? I mean, it's regulation, right? They're the ones that are supposed to be a regulatory body. Why are they even talking like this? Like, what does he think he's doing? Does he think he's like writing policy now?
Yeah, so that's the question. Like, what is he hyping up here? What's his overall agenda and purpose? Treasury rates, a 10-year Treasury rate right now sitting at 4.5%. If we scroll out 5 years, 2020, we're sitting at about 0.5%. All right, kind of stuck in that one on a Treasury bill, 1.5% in the 20s. So if we look at the past 5-year growth, right now we're sitting at about 4.5%. But his purpose and point, I guess, is, hey, the Treasury rates are high, and why don't you guys put all your money into the Treasury bills,
not?
Give it to the government.
But then we told you about the flash crashes. But don't worry, we're the SEC.
Don't worry about flash crashes.
This is it right there. Is he campaigning for Treasury Secretary? Lou, I think the answer is yes. Joshua says, September 2019 repo, those real issues brought on the COVID. He just admitted it. Oh, no, he didn't do that. No, it's a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. It didn't really happen.
September 19 repo. Yep.
September 2019 repo. Yep. Oh, no.
Issues brought on the COVID. He just admitted
Nothing to see here, people.
Yep.
This is an old video, but it still reigns supreme. It was put out, I think, a year or two ago, but this was one of the best parody videos on Gensler. Yeah, it is hard to
watch.
It was hard to watch. And
I like his music, though, his background music.
I have to say, I feel bad for the person that cuts the graphics for that and does that whole thing, because it's very clever. Like the music with the kind of cutout stuff, it's that After Effects stuff that they're doing there. It's very well executed. Unfortunately, you're like, great. You got a job with the government doing, motion animation, and now you have to do Gary Gensler videos. To pick that stuff up and make those graphics from it, that's the best video. Other than that, I lost the plot halfway through. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. But this is Gary Gensler at his best right here. Look at this, Jeff.
Too many frauds and scams.
These clowns trying to take us down. What a guy. Wow, what a guy. Wow, what a guy.
And let me just say,
guess who's back? Back again.
I'm just
Gary's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Na 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 na. I've created some guidelines. Cause all of my overlords told me to stop crypto shops, they got bigger. You want help? Well, this is what I'll give you. A little middle finger mixed with the last tooth. They must have forgot who I am, what I'm up to. Pick up the phone when you call, something I'll not do. I'm shocked that you're just not cooperating. It's obvious you're wrong, stop debating. Matter of fact, to stop operating. Everybody go back to the job you're hating. Miss Luna, FTX, LCS2. But my only job is protecting you. So the SEC's protecting me. Said CZ free, please let him be. Gary tried to shut him down, securities. But I feel so empty without these. So try that shit, buy that dip. I mean, this is not advice, don't cry about it. We'll get married to the fat bags we carry. We buy whatever we like, man. Fuck you, Gary. Now this looks like a job for me. I see hucksters, fraudsters, probably they need protecting from the SEC. This shit smells like security. Now this looks like a job for me. I see hucksters, fraudsters, probably they need protecting from the SEC. This shit smells like security.
Frankly, there's too many frauds and scams and too much hype picking the pockets of the American public. Huckster and flim-flam artists. I think that the rules and the regulations are already clear.
That's good. I love it.
That's
oh my god, that's there. Epic. It is epic. Epic
right there.
That was awesome. That was awesome. So here's the thing. I think there's a concerted effort right now across the board within this administration, the Fed, the Treasury, just across the board. What's it all? What is it all about? It's really about hyping and promoting the central bank digital currencies, promoting the Fed now, promoting over regulation and control of our currency flow, but not just currency flow, but complete control over and removal of privacy of expenditures and privacy of holding. And I think as we're starting to see kind of like we're getting hit from multiple different directions, whether it's going to be a CBDC or a digital dollar or a Ripple stable coin or whatever it might be. I think we're seeing all these different directions right now hitting. And it's not without notice that these new rails are going live for real-time payments within the US, and soon Canada real-time payments are getting ready to roll out. Now, the thing is that these real-time payments are flowing over Fed now, and they're going through traditional rails like the ACH clearinghouse, wire transfers and everything, right? So, or supporting those traditional rails, I should say. So the question then is, Chip, here they are. And here's Denmark getting ready to integrate it. Just across the board, we're starting to see a lot of integration. The Fed now behind it. And obviously, seeing some of these things that we're witnessing, it's all kind of the timing of it and lining up at an interesting point pre-2024 election.
I don't know, Jeff. It's the whole thing. I just don't really want. I don't want the Treasury. I don't want the Fed. I don't want them involved. Pretty much almost anything.
That's it.
I mean, do you really think it's real-time payments, though? I almost wonder, is it real-time payments? I mean, seems pretty odd that it would be. But
saying it is. They're saying, so is Zelle real-time payment?
No, I mean, well, it's payment. The money shows it's there,
but consumer perspective,
real-time settlement. I think that's really the question, right?
Yeah, not real-time settlement.
Yeah,
real-time payment.
I think it's more about that piece of it. Like, that's the part I think we'd probably want to know a little bit more about.
I agree.
But just getting back to that Federal Reserve stuff, it's like, he talks a lot about Hamilton, but Hamilton created the first central bank, right? And basically the charter ran out and it was crushed 20 years later. But in 1791, this was the grand thing. And so the founders wanted nothing to do with the central bank for obvious reasons. But no, that didn't stop Hamilton. But of course, back then, if you had a disagreement with somebody, he just said, like, I'll challenge you to a duel. And Aaron Burr took a shot. So it's like, and that was okay. It was like, as long as you challenge somebody, you didn't get put down for murder. These days, you say wrong pronoun and boom, you are in jail for 17 years in some countries. But he just like, we're going to have a duel. Take 10 paces, you turn around, and take a shot. Hey, those are those old sort of pistols where you had to like
you have to flint
gunpowder in,
ball and
it was not even a bullet; it was like a lead ball.
Pour your stuff in, stuff it
Right.
into the pistol,
Pack it
take
in
your
there.
10 steps, shoot, and they probably like zip off to the side
Yeah,
somewhere.
he had one shot. They were close enough where he just nailed him and he died. Right. That
10
I
steps,
mean,
yeah. Oh,
I mean,
and even if you're not mortally wounded from the impact, you're going to die from, because they're not going to be able to remove it, and then bacteria, and then you're going to die a slow,
right.
agonizing death.
Yeah, back in the day, it was like a little flesh wound could kill you, so you didn't live very long. It's like, and so I was like, this is another great Alexander Hamilton. It's not tyranny we desire; it's a just, limited federal government, and we don't have that. That was the intention. The intention was to have a limited federal government, but then we had to create 15 agencies that are all creating all kinds of writing their own legislation, even though they're supposed to be interpreting it. But that's pretty much where we started. I always like those little posts, like where we started and where, present day, right? We started here, we're there. So yeah, we've gone way off the rails. This is not what was intended, but thanks to the founders had enough sort of, I would say, insight to what could potentially happen in the future, which is why how they wrote the Constitution, written by people to put limits on the government and what they could and couldn't do. And so everything, like Jeff, there's this new one they're passing around, like you can't say anything bad and anti-Semitism, anything around. And the problem I have with that is, yeah, it has a good intention, but you are limiting free speech. Now the thing is, you can say anything you want. You could say, I hate this group of people and I hate that group of people. And that is what freedom of speech is. You may not agree with it, but to be able to pass something where you're going to limit speech, highly unconstitutional. Again, a lot of times there's good intentions that sort of go off the rails. And so if you're able to limit any type of speech, you're able to limit all types of speech. Again, good intentions, bad execution. But now, if you want to do it right, you say like, okay, well, if you want to be haters and you want to do this and you want to demagogue, then okay, you're not getting. Look at the funding these universities were getting. Columbia's getting $800 million, something like that, hundreds of millions of dollars. Great, you're on your own. So why are they charging? Why does it cost $120 million a year to attend Columbia or Harvard or any of these institutions when the endowments are massive? Who keeps the money? Who's getting rich? So the idea would be if the federal government gives, hundreds of millions of dollars to a university, well, then you can kind of say like, well, we don't have to give you any money, right? I mean, you can give it to them or not give it to them, but I just don't like the execution of the way they're framing this. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Jeff. No. None?
Nope.
Okay. There you go. There you have it. This is a rare moment.
Sorry, I had to send a text. I got someone doing a training and they couldn't figure out how to get the large monitors working with the computers. So I'm sending them.
You're also I forgot you're also tech support in your org. I'm tech support for my wife, and I have to deal with PCs all the time. That's how I know a lot about them, unfortunately, but because I have to troubleshoot them. And then when I really get stuck, I call Jeff. I go, Jeff, what the fuck is going on? What is going on with this thing, right? You just try to like figure out what the deal is. And,
I have 5 TVs in our main room, and so he was trying to figure out. He goes, "How do you get the computer to broadcast up on the TVs?" Well, yeah, HDMI 1, bitch.
There, tell you that's Jeff. Just he rolls his eyes and says, "It's easy, man."
Yeah. Then the question was, where are the remotes? They're Velcroed behind the TVs. It's the best place to put a remote. Everyone's like, where do you put the remotes? You put them on Velcro and you stick them right TV, right side, left TV, left side. Never mix up the remotes. Never lose the remotes. They're always there. It's perfect.
There you go, Jeff. Jeff has a system.
Got a system. Got the system down. So check this out. So these are, what's that?
Is there a little thing to make it full screen? I don't think so. No,
these are shorts. So,
okay.
So this is hyping and promoting CBDCs.
Okay, let's see let's see this one. I can't wait. I see Heritage Foundation. Okay.
There we go.
Imagine a faceless government bureaucrat having the ability to not just monitor your finances, but approve or cancel any transaction. That's what would happen with the central bank digital currency, or CBDC. It's essentially a government-run cryptocurrency, and like most government-run things, it's pretty terrible. It allows the government to not only see how you are earning, spending, and even donating all your money, but because all transactions have to go through the government has the ability to approve or decline anything. So if you want to donate money to an institution like the Heritage Foundation, the government can tell you no. If you want to buy firearms, the government can tell you, sorry, you have enough of those. We already have a problem in this country with people getting canceled for perfectly legal activities. The last thing we want is for the government to have more control, more power, and the ability to veto constitutional activity. If you want to protect not just your financial freedom, but your financial privacy too, then CBDCs need to be banned in all forms. Imagine a faceless.
Jeff, I am Chip from OTC, and I approved that video. That is like absolutely phenomenal. You said promote, I was like, wait a minute.
That was the best promo
Like,
video in favor of CBDCs. Right. No.
My God, that was excellent. Yeah.
Exact opposite.
People will go like, no, why would they do that? People actually, I've gotten into debates on X about people are like, oh, Chip, you're such a conspiracy theorist. The government wouldn't do that. No, of course they wouldn't do that
at all.
They wouldn't do that. Like whistleblowers.
320 watching on X.
Jeff, did you see that the second whistleblower for Boeing ended up catastrophically dead? It's like,
I heard
there's
these guys could
coincidence,
drop like
2 in a
flies.
row. First guy said he's
terrifying.
not suicidal and he would never have that intention, and then bam, he ends up with a I don't understand this, but Jeff, we used to talk about Bearable Guy back in the day a lot.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I think something came on my radar and I was just like, no, please tell me this is not true. But did you know that there was Bearable Jeremy Hogan? I didn't know about this, but check this out.
Let's see.
This was a post that somebody put out. And there he is right there. Is Jeremy Hogan sitting at the table. And someone said, did you see something in his eye? And I was like, no, I didn't. First of all, I've never seen this graphic. Zoom in a little bit. Can you read that, Jeff?
I cannot read it. What does it say? Something Joe Biden.
Yeah. I think you can read it now. So yeah, it was like
F.
Did you see it? I
Did you
saw
see it? Yes, we saw it.
We saw it.
We saw it.
Somebody having a little bit of fun there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I
just
love it.
a little bit of fun there. That's awesome. You gotta like that stuff, man.
So Chip, here's another one I was scrolling through and found this interesting one with Tucker and Joe Rogan, and they were talking about Nixon. And I think it's kind of apropos to the whole Fed thing and, some of the stuff going on right now with election interference. And this just popped up, and I thought it was interesting to kind of put in to the whole dialogue on, where things are going for crypto from a financial perspective, control perspective, CBDCs. And then you have to really think about what's going on right now with Trump and trials and all of that. And then there's this interview with Tucker and Rogan.
Get rid of Nixon. The people who broke into the Watergate office building, from which the name is taken, Watergate, I think it was 6 of them or 7 of them. All but one was a CIA employee. That's real. It's like, look it up on Google. So the whole thing, Richard Nixon was elected by more votes than any president in American history in the 1972 election. He was the most popular by votes, which is the only way we can really measure popularity, the most popular president in his re-election campaign. And 2 years later, he's gone. Undone by a naval intel officer, the number 2 guy at the FBI, and a bunch of CIA employees. You tell me what that is. So why did they want?
Tell me.
It's called the deep state, Jeff. That's what it is. And they take you out If they don't like you, they take you out, Jeff. That's how it works.
And look how they're going after Trump right now. The election interference is staggering.
Look at Kennedy.
And the riots in the streets and just everything. Yeah, Kennedy too.
Kennedy had the speech, the secret society speech. 3 weeks later, dead. They will, and then you remember Chuck Schumer famously said on Meet the Press or something, one of those Sunday shows, that, you know, don't mess with the FBI because they have 7 ways to Sunday or 7 ways to Sunday to get you, right? Nothing to see there, Jeff. So it's a known thing.
That's right. Here's a question. How do you view Ripple and CBDCs if you're against them? That is the plumbing they're working on, and we're against it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've talked about it often here. I'm not for it. I've asked for transparency. I've reached out. I've sent tweets. You know, posts on X. Jeff and I have vehemently against it. We've talked at length about it. That this is one of the reasons that nobody from Ripple comes on the show, because although we're fans of some of the things we're doing, not a fan of the CBDCs. I've asked, you know, what about programmability? What kind of programmability do you offer? Right? Can you cancel somebody? Can you pull it back? And they're like very, very, very mysterious, right? So nobody really knows. But not against that. I'm not about all their green stuff, their initiatives. What Jeff and I have said is, Jeff, stick to doing what you do best. Cross-border payments, or pick your initiative, stick to that. We don't need any of this woke stuff. And that's the problem with a lot of organizations like Ripple. They get too woke. They want to save the world. They'll sell you out. And
and they will.
There was a company run. There was a company run by brothers, and they revolutionized how you could cremate a body back in the late 30s. And a guy named Adolf Hitler went knocking and called him and started ordering these ovens. But his intention was to put, burn Jews alive. And so this company sold out, and they were. Okay, they went to Auschwitz. They inspected. They were the ones that made them, because they were the ones that had this, you know, it was intended to burn a body after death. And so I liken it to that. I mean, not to the extreme, but the thing is you made it for one intention. Ripple made, you know, this technology for one intention. Now you're going to turn it over to a central bank that has evil intentions so that they can cancel people that you don't agree with. I'm not likening it to death. I'm just saying your intention was good. It started out good, but it was co-opted. These guys, these brothers who had this oven, was co-opted, and they gladly sold it. Yeah, okay. How many more do you want? We'll make them for you.
Bayer Pharmaceuticals. Bayer Pharmaceuticals was heavily involved in medical research on live human specimen during that period of time. And there was a known incident. There was a video that popped up where they had requested, they say, can you send some women? We need to do some tests. So they sent 150 healthy women from one of the concentration camps, and they wrote back and they said, hey, you know, everything went great. Unfortunately, none of them survived. Can you send another 150? And that was Bayer. And Bayer was very involved in different types of research, you know, medical research. You know, some of it was, you know, mutation, you know, I mean, there was all sorts of things they did, you know, but and, you know, to that point. So here you have these companies, you know, and so you were taking the extreme, but you kind of went down that path, you know, so, but really, I mean, you think about how terrifying full control and manipulation of the economics is. Because if you want to really think about, you know, the direction that things can go in, if they control your outcome, they control your life, your death, they'll control everything through a central bank digital currency. And that's terrifying. It is life and death.
Yeah. So Jeff, you know, one of the things that about the story that's shocked me was the fact that once at the beginning, they just, I get people want to buy our product. But once it says, beyond knowingly supplying ovens for the unlawful cremation of concentration victims, Toff & Sons anticipated the demands of its new customers, and they engineered better equipment. Okay, so it's one thing not to know, but to know and then make it better. I mean, that's bizarre to me. So, you know, imagine like with a CBDC, you know, okay, let's face it, I don't care what government is, U.S. government, you name it. At some point, Jeff, I mean, the government is not here to save you, right? What Ronald Reagan, the 7 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government, here to help," right? They're not here to help. Every government at some point, this is why you try to anticipate what could go off the rails. It all goes off the rails. And so if you can program, and this is the whole thing, what Jeff and I, our stance on this is, what do we need a CBDC? I mean, if the XRP ledger, for example, can take any fiat currency and convert it to any other fiat currency, or it can to any digital asset. We have the technology. It's digital now. We don't even have, so to me, there's no need for a CBDC. Jeff, what do we need a CBDC for? We don't even have all the money to cover. If we had a bank run today, if everybody went to the bank and took out $1,000, we'd crash every bank.
Right. Yeah. Well, why would you want instant? And that's the whole point. You don't want instant settlement within the banking infrastructure right now, because they can't. They don't have they can't settle. They don't hold the funds.
Josh,
digitize it. It could be interesting. It could be interesting.
Glad you asked, Josh.
Yes. We go down. Go down that path. Anyway, start talking about plumbing, and then Monkey Business said, "Hey, did you guys go to Vegas?" And then Roland said, "Does it look like Vegas?" Vegas, no, baby, Vegas.
No, we did
not go to Vegas. Not our thing.
Not our thing. Not our thing. But we will be in Australia again next year.
A wave of innovation 2025. Hell yeah.
Which is all about the builders in the ecosystem. So it's just different philosophies. Hey, man, I mean, Vegas is probably going to be a phenomenal time. I mean, to me, it would be great to meet a lot of people in the community. It's just, I mean, we just chose not to go, essentially, But I've been seeing it up on feeds. It's great seeing people meeting. It's great seeing, Garling House there up on stage, and Chef, man, bringing it today. But I did want to put.
Yeah, let's do an update on John Deaton. I think that's
we do that, Jeff. Now that we're on this subject, I wanted to let's see here. Let's just hit this real quick, because we will do an update on John Deaton here. But this was something that I thought was really great that Brad Garlinghouse put out. He put out he said, "I'm very excited to see the number of XRP community-led events growing this year, with XRP Gold Coast in March," which Jeff and I were there and emceed, and really proud to be a part of that special event, and XRP Las Vegas starting tomorrow. This was yesterday put out. Hope to see some of you there and meet more of you in person at XRP or the Apex in June. From the new native capabilities to the projects building on the ledger, momentum's growing. I believe the future is right. So Michael Arrington did a great interview with Brad Garlinghouse. These two are old buddies. And Arrington actually put up a picture. I'm trying to find where his socks are. He put up a, let me see.
Yay.
There it is. Yay. So he actually wore these socks on stage, which I thought were pretty cool. But you can see there, Garlinghouse socks. Look, they got Brad Garlinghouse's face on them.
Whose socks are those?
This is Michael Arrington, his buddy. He said on stage with Brad Garlinghouse in Vegas shortly for XRP Las Vegas, the digital chamber. As I always, when I interview Brad, I'm wearing my XRP Army Brad Garlinghouse socks. We discussed. That's pretty cool, dude.
And there should be a distinction between a meetup, where just general, versus the wave of innovation was all about development in the space, builders in the space, bringing, and showcasing what's possible. And I think, that was a big differentiator. Of course, you can just run around and do meetups, and, people want to spend money to do that. Hey, that's awesome. Go meet up, do the meetup, go see speakers. I like going to conferences. I like going to things that get people together, because, networking can be super beneficial. But to me, to spend my time and effort just to go hang out, not going to do it. I'm going to go spend my time, spend 2 days flying, so we can be part of a program that hypes up and talks about developers in the space and how you build in the space, and, getting to learn, that aspect of it, and see people that are highly involved in building. To me, that's a lot more intriguing and motivating. And that's where you network, also. But, again, for to each his own. So while you want to go hang out in Vegas, if that's your thing, then so be it.
Well, the other thing, Jeff and I are really cringy when it comes to Vegas, right? I've had to go there and travel for work, and I've had to. I mean, Vegas isn't my thing. I don't care. I think people are always like, I remember for years, people are like, have you ever been to Vegas? I'm like, dude, I go on my bucket list. It's not even on, it's on like page 475. I'm like, I could care less if I ever see it. If I want to go see, if I want to go see Italy, I just go to Italy, right? I don't want to, I just, it's the cringiest part of America. It really is. It's just, it's over the top. But I will say this though,
First
that
two times I was there, it was fun. You know, walking around and seeing stuff, right? When you get to see Paris and New York and kind of that first experience.
Jeff, where the Golden Nugget is, I think that's where XRP Vegas is happening. No. The Golden Nugget, you know, it's such a landmark, and that whole old Vegas area, and they've got that container sort of area where it's like they have all these containers, they built like shops and stuff around. That part is like dirty and seedy. Like that's more interesting to me than this. I mean, we've had so many advances in technology, and you go back 150 years in the US and you saw these beautiful, gorgeous buildings, and they put up a flat building with windows, and you're like, it's the ugliest thing you've ever seen. Like, what happened to our, we innovated with construction, but our design has sucked. And, you know, Vegas is the epitome of suck. You know, I mean, the only thing I'd want to see is that giant ball, you know, with,
that would be kind of cool.
You know, that would be, to me, that would be, you know, that should have had XRP Vegas on it. It probably cost like $100,000 to flash it on there one time. But like, and you know, like that, I watched, you know, videos of U2 in there, and they're selling them for $800 a ticket. I'm like, you know, Jeff, I'm not really into watching shows, but when I was there, I did watch The Love, which was the Beatles thing, so I'm such a Beatles fan. And I was kind of like, dude, I mean, it was a band that I love, and I just didn't care. I was at one point, I was like, should I go just get a drink somewhere? I mean, like, it was all the music that I loved, and I just couldn't care about it, Jeff. It was so cringy.
Yeah, this is it here, Chip.
Oh, this is all we're gonna get
about. Hello? Well, what's up, Trent? That was Sue. We got 2 parties tonight. One's for Mom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen to me, baby. There's gonna be beautiful babies there.
Look, Trent, you know, I got shit to do tomorrow.
Listen to you. I got a final call back for a pilot at 9, and I'm going to this thing. Come on, Mike. You got to get out with the beautiful babies.
That's all I think about. I love that show. That movie.
Swingers are the best. Swingers is the absolute
Vegas,
best.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby, Vegas. What was that Vegas, the movie with I mean, there's been some good movies about it, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, look, sometimes I've had to go there for conferences, so it's for work. But I don't
look at that. Vegas Raiders season tickets.
By the way, did Jeff and I talk about right before Vegas next year that we're hosting the Wave of Innovation Miami right 2 weeks before on South Beach?
Yeah, on South Beach.
Did we talk about that yet, Jeff? We haven't floated that idea. Have we talked about that yet?
We're gonna float that idea out
into Vegas. I want to go to a real fun city. Come to Miami. Come to Miami, baby. Miami has it all. That's where all the tech companies are moving. That's where the new sort of Silicon Valley will be located for the blockchain, all blockchain, tons of blockchain companies, great stuff. Lincoln Road. We'll have it right there at the convention center. And I think the timing will be out. It'll be like 2 weeks before Vegas, but you know, that's okay.
Sounds good.
That sounds good. You know, we have Innovation Australia, then we'll have Innovation Miami. So, you know, we'll have it right there. You know what I mean, Jeff? Think about that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah, it might even happen this weekend. It was supposed to, can you imagine if we had competing sort of conferences? It's like, man, it's weird. How did it happen on the same weekend? That's really odd.
That's right.
So, pick your camp, man. Go, you know, and we'll just have every builder in the world there. It'd be just amazing. And half of them don't even have to travel far. They're right there. It would be more inclusionary, though. It would be an ecosystem of all cool stuff. Because let's face it, we all hold. I mean, we love here. Love, you know, a lot of initiatives that Ripple are doing. We call them out for the things we don't care for, right? We fanboy on some of the stuff and other stuff. And look, if we weren't you how we really felt, Jeff, if we were just like, you know, phoning it in, they wouldn't even show up here. It wouldn't be authentic.
4 hours. See that? Got SoFlo coming already. We got number 1. First one.
See, right there. We got a 1 viewer on Twitch, and SoFlo's coming right there. We got a 1.
That's it. 1.
Right there. We'll make the tickets affordable. We won't sell access to anybody. Everybody will be accessible the entire time. You don't have to worry. You don't have to pay $1,500 for a dinner. It's just going to be like one thing. And I'll tell you what'll be hard to match, though. The hardest thing to match would be the food. I got to tell you that the organizers, Matt LaRoche is one of the organizers.
It's awesome.
8 or 9 people that did it as a volunteer, not for profit. The food was insane. You know who was responsible for the food? Matt LaRoche.
Thank you, Matt.
Matt crushed it.
Well,
and the team.
If we're able to do a U.S. based wave of innovation, let these guys get kind of their sea legs under them for Wave of Innovation 2025. You guys want to host it down here as well? We're here to help support and host a U.S. based Wave of Innovation. Just throwing that out into the atmosphere be great. Bring Matt will have to be the connoisseur of all things food.
Look at this right here as well. Tim Tom's down. There you go. We got 2 right there.
That's it.
40 hours. That's right. You can make the trip. Stay, man. Come for the conference and stay for the fun.
Hang out, drink, smoke, make a digital NFT. There you go.
There you go. Now you're talking about something. Now you're talking, right?
Florida XRP conference. There you go. No California. No Vegas.
Oh, right. Don't worry about that. Well, Vegas is actually part of California, I think. I think it's been sucked into that ecosystem. Probably more people at any given point in Vegas. That's another reason right there, Jeff. I always would bump into people, you know, because you go to these conferences and they're always from California.
That's right.
Yeah, we do need a Florida.
We do need to do something big on a grandiose scale here in Miami.
The best timing for that would probably be like early November or January when it's super cold everywhere and people are like, of course I want to go to warmth and sunshine, right? You're going to grab Rob and Tommy? Yeah, baby. You grab Rob and Tommy. They will be in tow. They would never miss that.
No, it would be great. It would be epic.
Yeah.
Miami.
So anyway, Jeff, we went way off script today, but I think we covered most of what we wanted to get to today.
We got to talk about John Deaton before we leave.
Please, let's do that. Let's talk about Deaton. We got to get that in. I've got the I've got
Deaton. It's really important. It's critical.
Yeah. Oh man. Hang on a second.
Views are true. 370, 440. 460.
All right, so this is a good one right here, and this is John's coming out hard hitting. He's got so many great posts, but we can only hit a couple of them. But here he is. Says the crypto candidate is at it again. It seems like every week Elizabeth Warren is talking about crypto. Therefore, I am officially designating her 2024's crypto candidate. John goes on to say she's been silent on the migrant crisis, the debt crisis, the housing crisis, skyrocketing inflation, the opioid addiction, to name a few, but she sure is vocal about crypto. I have to admit, she's working hard for Jamie Dimon and the banks. Here's what Elizabeth Warren's been focusing on: crypto, pot, and helping graduates with Harvard MBAs get their loans paid off by taxpayers. Oh, those are, or this is the same ones.
MBAs.
Jeff, somebody put out a list the other day. Gosh, I wish I would have saved it. It was a long list of all the encampments on universities. Like simultaneously, within 3 days, there's a list of like 80 universities that have they have supplies, they have flags, they have so this is an organic.
It was so prepared.
Right, scarves.
The supplies they had was unbelievable, but the signs were all pre-printed signs.
Right, and exactly the same. If this wasn't an organized, this was not organic. This is organized, and like Jeff has said before, these people are the dumbest people. These kids, they're just like, they interview these 2 girls, and they go like, "What? Why are you? What do you guys stand for? Like, what do you like?" She's like, "I don't. I'm not." She asked her friend, "You know why we're here?" They didn't know. They didn't know why they're there. It's like, "Yay! Well, what are you here for?" I don't know. It's like, oh, and by the way, she's also said that members of Congress deserve a raise. By the way, they gave themselves a secret raise by giving them a housing. Sort of a perk, an extra 20 to 50,000, but it wasn't like salary related, but it was underhanded. This is how they do it.
Deserve a raise.
And some of you actually think I'm going to lose this race. Not going to happen. Right there. This was Alexander Grieve said. He said Senator Warren wrote it with another letter. This one with fellow DAA MLA co-sponsor Senator Angus King. Focused on an alleged Iranian usage of Bitcoin mining for funding proxies. Honestly, at this point,
that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
have to crank
It
out.
wasn't the billions of dollars that the Biden administration released to them. No, it's Bitcoin mining. They're mining billions in Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Listen, and these people are manufacturing. You remember that movie Wag the Dog? They were like, I'm guessing it happens once in a while. This is all just absolutely orchestrated, manufactured garbage, Jeff.
From the Steele dossier forward.
Yeah. And then the best thing that ever happened was when Rep Donalds was interviewing Gary Gensler, and he said, "Remember, you're under oath." He asked him about, the check written about and he's like, "I don't." Well, guess what? You didn't know anything about it. Well, you signed the check, buddy, and also the Alpha Bank hoax as well. That was the other one. Remember, they said that there was a Russian server and connected to the. It was just turned out to all be garbage. But
all of it.
This is a good one too. Our very own Rob Licker, OG here, wrote this, and this is phenomenal. This
Plus, John got all the signatures as well. First one to get the signatures, by the way.
Yeah, very good, man. Counselor, this is Rob Licker, a community member and an OG of the channel. We had Rob on a long time ago. Counselor, he's writing this to John Deaton. Counselor, I'm a railroad man, 25 years, and I lace my Red Wings 7 days a week thanks to Biden inflation. I can't vote for you because I'm in New York, and the money I've sent could buy needed groceries, but I love my children and country, and I worry about their future. We need you in D.C. Marine. And then he wrote this is the letter that he got because he donated. Robert, thank you for your generous contribution to my campaign, your support. And John Deaton
responded.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, hang on a second. Did I do that wrong? Hang on a second.
There it is right there. Let's read those two.
It's right there. Yep. Okay. She said, so John said, if you're surprised, I'm the first candidate, including Elizabeth Warren, to announce that I've obtained the necessary signatures to qualify for the ballot. You haven't been paying attention to who I am or what this campaign's about. I would not do this if I couldn't win. I have the team, the ground game, the work ethic, the determination, the message to win. I will retire Elizabeth Warren, but I need your help to do it. Please go to John Deaton for Senate. And then he, that's not the one though, Jeff.
But he responded to Rob's comment.
So he responded to Rob's comment here. He said, I must admit, it's been hard for me to ask for donations because I know many people are struggling financially. One of the reasons I donated a lot of my own money to the campaign was to show people that I believe in myself before asking them to believe in me. Messages like the one below that Rob Licker wrote hit me hard. And to be honest, they get me emotional. Please know I'm very aware of some of you will feel your donation at some point, and that makes me work harder and fight harder to make sure that I'll never let you down. Freedom's on the line, and the sacrifice you make will make this victory even greater. Jeff, thoughts on that?
Man, it's just solid. Just solid. I mean, his commentary, and he's right. I mean, it comes down to the individual supporter. You'll never see a candidate, that sincerely, expressing how important that is. And it's every last hard-earned dollar to support a political candidate. Typically, like, send whatever you can. You think they really care? They don't care. They're looking at, I need $1 million. I don't give a shit who I get it from. I don't care if it's your last dollar or if you could afford $1,000. I just need to get to my $1 million. And they're not going to go back and say, hey, I truly appreciate that struggle because I understand what it means, and I'm there to protect and defend and the emotion that goes with it. And, John understands it, but freedom is on the line. And that sacrifice, that temporary sacrifice for that, let's say it could buy groceries for the week and then you have to cut back for the week. That sacrifice is meaningful. And that's what he's talking about. It'll make the victory even greater, especially when you're unseating such a corrupted individual that could give a shit about her constituents. Think she cares about her constituents when she misappropriated another culture in order to get into college, in order to get a job, and then continue that misappropriation of the Native American culture and trying to make it her own. It was all bullshit. She knew it was bullshit. Everybody knew it was all bullshit. And here we are, and here's where we are in the future at this point. This is how symbolic and how critical it is for John Deaton to win, to remove somebody that is so egotistical and against the individual. She's out for herself, enriching her power circle, and that's it. And she's worth a lot. She's worth a lot of money. Get her out of there. Send her packing. Send her packing.
I had to put my special Jeff rant screen on right here. So it's going on. Jessica, the classic Saturday morning rant. You got to have that. It wouldn't be Saturday without one. But no, she's an absolute grifter. And the funny thing is, John Deaton pushes a lot of attention towards the fact that 12 years ago, she said she was going to Washington to fight for the little guy. And you know what else I'm going to do? Those bankers, they profited. Meanwhile, the bankers are writing her bills. She's in bed with the bankers. She's a liar. She's a cheat. She's a scumbag. She's what do you think this is going to do to the channel, Joe? She's
YouTube. Listen,
are we still on the air? Yeah,
I don't even know if we're gone there.
No, she's disingenuous.
Australia.
Yeah, about that for president. What I like about John is and this is one of the great things is when we were in Australia, we had a chance to really spend some time with John Deaton, Jeff and I, some one-on-one time, and really talk about his campaign, talk about a lot of things. But one of the things that was very apparent to me is that John Deaton, I would never bet against that man. That man has such conviction. And if you read his book, what he dealt with and who he is and who he became, there's no greater success story. I don't care what. Warren is worth $80 million, and she wants rich people to pay more. Well, listen, lady, when you file your taxes, that first page, there's a little box you can check to say how much you want to donate. She never checks that box. She's full of crap, Jeff. She's full of it. And this woman who is so disingenuous that got called out. She was 1/500th of Native American, which means what, Jeff? I mean, that means you could take a dart anywhere in any big city. You could throw it into a crowd. The first person you hit would be more Native American than her. That's how pathetic this woman is. And the fact that had happened to a Republican, conservative, man, they would have been out immediately. But nobody, these people lie, cheat, and steal. Look at Melendez. Second time he was in trouble. First time he skated through. These people, there is no justice. There's two tiers of justice. And it's weird that the opponent of Mr. Joe Biden they didn't care about any of this stuff 3 years ago. But you're running for president? Wait, you're leading the polls? Okay. So, I mean, people are smart enough to know that even when you have like a guy like Alan Dershowitz, who is probably, and he's a Democrat, he's he's come out and spoken highly of the Trump thing, saying this is all pathetic. These are baseless trials. You're baseless. He's come out and said it. He doesn't support Republicans, but he's just talking about the law. One of the things always, in Dershowitz, we found out is also going to be advising and working with Stephen Neroff. So that's phenomenal. You got one of the Stephen Neroff who's suing an agency who could potentially take this down and break it wide open. He's already won twice, and we were joking the other day saying, hey, if I ever get in trouble, I want Stephen Neroff advising us, because the guy's beat the rap in the government, and the DOJ, and it's never happened. So it's insane. But that's all we have, Jeff. That's all we got.
That's all we got. We went over.
Went out and guys, thank all of you as always. Yeah, a lot of views on X. I can't wait till they turn it into absolutely 100% Frady Cat.
That'd be sweet.
What? Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, the kind of talk will just boost. Yeah, well,
that's right.
Yeah, not over on Rumble it will, but not here.
What the heck is throwing Bitcoin underpants? Big boy.
Yeah, so anyway, guys, that's all we have. Jeff, anything before take us out?
Bitcoin underoos.
There you go. Because I'm a Bitcoin now.
That's all we got for today. We'll be back tomorrow, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday, fun day.
Sunday, one day only.
Sunday.
All right, guys, that's what we have. We'll see you guys tomorrow. See you on the next
Sunday.
Jeff.
Oh.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.